Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to our Wednesday night legal panel, or at least half our panel. Jimmy Kasouras, criminal defense attorney in Manhattan, lecturing at New York Law and a visiting professor at the University of Birmingham, not in Alabama, but in England. And Doug Von Oys, founding partner of Carson Von Oys, focusing on corporate misconduct, and was selected by the Legal 500 as one of the most influential trial lawyers in the nation. All right, guys, a couple cases close to home. I want to get your take on both in Jersey. First up, at least it started from an act of love. New Jersey father barred from the delivery room as the woman, that would have been more interesting, he impregnated, gave birth. The couple were not a couple once 9 months or so had passed. Now, the judge in his ruling cited state and case law that supports the rights of mothers over fathers, saying in part, for example, the law gives more weight to expectant mothers, even minors, when they decide to have an abortion, going on to say a girl is not required to notify her parents if she decides to have an abortion. Likewise, neither does a married woman. He also noted that notification imposes too much of a burden on the pregnant woman. Now, we have done a lot of cases here. Usually it's a policy debate about what is the rights of a father. Certainly, there's been a lot in divorce proceedings in terms of, listen, I'm doing child support, I'm doing alimony, but I have very little control of the raising of my children. Others saying, you know what, my rights get compromised in every which way or form here. What about that? This isn't an unknown commodity. We've even seen this when it comes to adoption. Or if does the father in this case have any right after conception to be a party to, in this case, the birth of his child, or at least his child and the decisions raised to it? Or is basically it's up to the mom, pure and simple? What do you guys think?
Well, apparently he doesn't have a right to be in the delivery room, and you know, look, in this situation, they were estranged, and I think that puts a different spin on it. But you know, you have a father who wants to be involved in the child's life. He wants to be a father. He wants to, you know, be there. And parenting starts at birth. This is his only opportunity to witness his child's birth. A child that he is going to, as I said, be an active participant for the rest of his life.
Has the law, the courts, maybe that's a better way to say, changed in recent years? Because, listen, it's always been known, if there's a divorce, the odds completely are weighed on the woman's side, the mother of the child, over the father. And I certainly understand that. But I can't tell you the amount of programs I've done where angry, for example, I used to have on Fridays where I'd open up the dialogue, talk about whatever you want. I'd be overwhelmed with angry groups of fathers who feel they're frozen out of the child rearing process, or that they don't have a right, divorced fathers, or fathers that are separated from the mother, or whatever the case may be, and never married. It seems to be a pattern here. And the law would just love the families to work it out themselves right now, but you keep hearing this. I'm just telling you, I do, at least from doing this.
I think, unfortunately, everybody's angry when you get in these courts. You'll hear the stories of the women being angry, the men being angry, but there's definitely, I think men feel that they're kind of put upon, that they're asked to, you know, support the children, but they're not given the same rights as the woman. I don't know if that's true or not, and it depends upon the case. If you're talking about this case, though,
right.
I mean, really, you're talking about a surgery. I mean, your baby's being born. You're talking about keeping a calm environment for a woman to give birth in. So you could see how a judge would say, listen, let's break up the fight, because they're in a fight. They're suing each other. I mean, let's
is this more black and white when it gets to divorce court and family court, or is this really discretionary on the judge's part as to figuring out the arrangements here? Not just the financial, but then the shared responsibilities of parents when it comes to visitation, when it comes to all the other kind of things.
Well, I think that is far more discretionary, and that's more fact-based, because that, you know, issues of who can work, who doesn't work, you know, who has the ability to pay, and what the best interests of the child are,
and even where they live.
That's right. That's right. I think that this was less of a discretionary issue, because this was more constitutionally focused.
Okay, I want to stay in New Jersey. I want to flash forward. Let's say 18 years from now, kid's born, and you have an 18-year-old. This is a real case in Jersey. An 18-year-old honor student sued to divorce her parents, but wanted to force them to pay for certain things, including her tuition. The judge threw out most of the suit, and she went back home before a final ruling on tuition came in. But the case does raise some interesting questions. what may a parent be compelled to do for their kids? I'm not creating a situation where the kid's some child actor and the parents misuse the kid's funds. You know, you have to, obviously, you have to feed, you have to clothe your kid, you have to create a safe environment for the child here. Does it extend beyond that? You know, where you have the argument, which is, if there is wherewithal, is there any compunction for the parent to go beyond, including tuition or helping at all in that respect? Or should there be?
Well, this case is bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, this is bizarre. I mean, but I mean, usually talking about where you're withholding basic necessities from a child, and then, you know, child protective services step in, so you have to, you know, take care of the kid. If you don't, we're going to do something about it. But this is just bizarre. I mean, this is I don't want to knock a lawsuit because I don't know everything about it, but I mean, this is, it sounds like it's bordering on abuse.
Frivolous?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah, I agree. As parents, we want to do everything we can for our children, but quite frankly, there are some parents out there, and it's not an argument to not be considered, that think that children should take loans and go to college and have a dog in the fight and so on and so forth. And to sue over something like that, and with all the other stuff that was going on in this lawsuit, she didn't want to go home early, or she didn't like other things that were being imposed on her.
Like
so
the boyfriend.
I didn't like the boyfriend. So
dump the boyfriend. They wouldn't have that. Yeah.
So no.
It's just
no.
Yeah. When you start suing parents, then you know you jumped the shark. All right, we're gonna be right back with more of our legal panel right after this. Stay with us.